Hello, Liberty Union 4th grade students. Welcome to Smeck Park. Smeck Park is a 48-acre park in Liberty Township near the west edge of Baltimore on Basel Road. The site was acquired in 1999 by a donation from Harold Smeck. The park provides a prime example of the power of the last great glacier, the Wisconsin, that began its retreat some 14,000 years ago. The glacier flattened hills and filled in valleys. As it melted, it would have produced unimaginable torrents of water rushing from its face and cutting deep into the landscape, leaving behind the ravines. There are deep ravines and meadows, mature mixed hardwood trees, a civilian conservation crops pine plantation, and fields that are partially divided by Little Walnut Creek and the Ohio and Erie Canal. Smeck Park also includes a walking trail, many large open picnic areas, a playground, a shelter house, the Fetter Hood Barn, a blacksmith shop, a windmill, and the newest addition, the Cruet House. The windmill is just short of 60 feet high. It has a 750-gallon water tank resting on a platform that is 30 feet above ground. It was built in the late 1800s by the Stover Windmill Company of Freeport, Illinois, and was installed on Mrs. Wolf's farm on Canal Road. Most of it is original, but a new fan and motor had to be built. The fan is 10 feet in diameter. Water pumping windmills can draw up water from hundreds of feet below the surface for storage in the elevated tank. The average windmill, powered by a 15 to 20 mile per hour breeze, can pump about 3 gallons per minute. The move and restoration of the windmill was completed in 2016. The Fetter Hood Barn is a very large double 4-bay Pennsylvania German-style bank barn. The Fetter Hood Barn was deconstructed in 2006 from its original location just outside of Lancaster and put in storage. Each piece was labeled so they could put it back together at Smeck Park. Reconstruction at Smeck Park was to begin in 2015, but was delayed due to financial constraints. Some of the lumber was stolen and is expensive to replace. The huge foundation walls are in place at the park and give viewers just an idea of how massive the barn is. Welcome to the Cruet House. English immigrants William and Hannah Cruet arrived in Fairfield County in 1829. They constructed this house on Rainbow Drive in Lancaster, just east of State Route 158. The home often gets called a log cabin, but it is more accurately called a log frame home. It has always had siding on the outside of the home to protect the logs. The logs are exposed on the inside of the house as well as on the porch. At the time this house was built, they were constructed with nails that were created by hand. Jacob and Mary Wagner purchased the home in 1886. It remained in the possession of their descendants through the 19th and part of the 20th centuries. Then, the Reef-Beck family owned and occupied the home for over 100 years. In 2019, the Cruet House was relocated to Smeck Park in Baltimore, Ohio. Another building at Smeck Park is the blacksmith shop. This structure was built about 5 years ago and doesn't have any historical significance. It is only used for park programs. However, the blacksmith shop was inspired by the importance of blacksmiths in the 1800s. The blacksmith was one of the most important people in a community because every person depended on the blacksmith. A horse could only be ridden so far without shoes. Wagons needed repairs. Tools and nails all had to be made by hand. And all of the farm equipment eventually needed to be repaired. All of this was done by a blacksmith. There were no machines to do these things, so it is easy to see why the blacksmith was so important. The picnic shelter at Smeck Park is another new structure. This beautiful open-air picnic shelter was patterned after the Rock Mill Covered Bridge, which is located in Lancaster, Ohio. The shelter house is open to the public and has enough picnic tables to seat approximately 48 to 64 people. The Smeck Loop Trail is a natural, unpaved 1.4-mile walking trail. Along the trail is a mixture of hardwoods and pines. At the bottom of the ravines near the creeks are pawpaw trees, which are our state fruit. We hope that you have enjoyed this virtual field trip to Smeck Park. Although we weren't able to go together, we hope that you have learned something about the park, and we encourage you and your family to explore this beautiful park together. To find out more about Smeck Park and additional parks in Fairfield County, please visit www.fairfieldcountyparks.org.